Okay, viewers, we want to learn how to transform quadratic equations or quadratic expressions into a vertex form. Let's start from here. We know that generally a quadratic equation is written as ax squared plus bx plus c. So we can generally write a quadratic equation in this form. This is the standard form which we can represent a quadratic equation where a, b, c are constants. So we want to learn how to transform this standard form of a quadratic equation to its vertex form, which is plus or minus a into x minus h all squared plus k. Now, in this case, h comma k is the vertex of the parabola or the quadratic curve. So the vertex graphically looks something like this. If you have your two-dimensional plane, your x and your y axis, sorry, this is your y and this is your x, sorry. So this curve, this parabola can either open upwards or a case where it's open downwards. All right, so we are interested to know what the vertex is. So the vertex is this point here, this minimal point here. That's the vertex here, and for this case the vertex is this point. So these guys are the vertex, the turning point of the parabola, the turning point of the parabola. So it can either become a minimum point for here. This is the minimum point, and here is a maximum point. And what determines whether it's open up or it's open down is the sign of A. So if A is positive, it will open up. And if A is negative, it opens downwards. So this is just what vertex is all about graphically. But what we want to learn how to do right now is to transform quadratic equations or expressions to their vertex form. And that process is called completing the square. It's called what? Completing the square. So we want to learn how to complete the square for these guys so that we can be able to transform it to its vertex form. So let us go ahead and start completing the square. So solution. Now, the first thing you want to do in transforming this equation to its vertex form is to factor out the coefficient of x squared. Now, you see that the coefficient of x squared is just 1. So because it's 1, there is no need to factor out. We move to the next step. So we have y is equal to x squared plus 6x, then plus 2. All right. Now, the next step is to pick the coefficient of x. The coefficient of x here is 6. Right? Divided by 2. We divide it by 2 and we square it. All right, this is the completing the square process now. So you pick the coefficient of x, which is 6, then divide by 2 and square it. That's the rule. So then we'll get 3 squared, right? So 6 divided by 2 is 3. Now we have 3 squared. This 3 squared, we are going to add it here. So we have y is equal to x squared plus 6x. Now we have this 3 squared here plus 3 squared minus 3 squared. Then we'll close our bracket plus 2. Of course, you know 3 squared is 9. Another 3 squared is 9. 9 minus 9 is 0. We are back to this equation. So we are actually not changing this equation, but we need these guys. We need these guys so that we can complete this square. Now, the next stage or the next line of equation will tell you how important we need this 3 squared. Okay, now, so that's the next line of equation. The next line of equation is this. Whenever you complete the square, whenever you complete the square, the first 3 terms in the equation becomes a perfect square. And how do you write this perfect square? In its compact form. So open a bracket like this and close it up with a square. So this guy here without the square, bring it down. The sign of this 6s, which is positive, bring it down. And this 3 without the square, bring it down. Now I tell you, if you expand this whole expression here, you get these guys. You get these guys right here. You see? So that's why we need this 3 square so that we can complete the square here. Now, this is not a perfect square now. So we have this guy minus 3 squared is 9. So we have 9. Then we have plus, okay, so plus 2 out here, right? So the next thing we want to do now, because there's no coefficient, we didn't factor out any number, so we can remove the bracket. So remove the bracket. So when you remove the bracket, you have y is equal to x plus 3 all squared minus 9 plus 2. And of course, you all know that minus 9 plus 2 is no other person but minus 7, right? Now, if you look at this equation closely, you can see it is actually like the form which we said earlier, a into x minus h all squared plus k, right? This is actually that form which we said earlier, and this is the Vertex form. So when you compare these two equations, you can see that the a is the coefficient of this guy here, which is actually a positive one. So you see a is actually a positive, is actually a positive one, right? And what next? H here this guy can also be written as, for simplicity, we can write it as y is equal to x minus and minus 3 all squared. Then we have here to be plus, then minus 7, just for simplicity. So we have this guy is x minus h all squared plus k, right? So you see now a is the one here, which we just figured out. A is 1, and h is what? H is equal to minus 3, you can see. And now k is equal to minus 7. So the vertex, therefore, will be equal to h comma k, and that is just minus 3 comma minus 7. So this is the vertex of this parabola. This is what it will look like, okay? This is the vertex of this parabola. So this is where we are going to stop today. If you want to check more of our lessons, you can actually okay, let's sketch this parabola. Let's see how it will look like. So if you are sketching this parabola, you have your x and your y axis here. Now here is this is the negative part of the x. So somewhere here it should be minus 3, and somewhere here it should be minus 7. So this is the point, minus 3 comma minus 7. And we said that if a is positive, the parabola is going to open upward. So if we are to sketch it, we have something like this. It's something like this. This is just a sketch, not a real value for the parabola, but this is just a sketch to help us have a picture of how the parabola will look like. So this is the end of the class. Have a wonderful day. And if you enjoyed the class, please let me know in the comment section. Bye-bye.